And right across Europe, right across Germany, right across Russia, I prophesied that Europe shall have the message of God.
Genesis.
Hello there. Thanks for joining us. Today we're going to be looking at the Shroud of Turin. That's a controversial thing, but I believe it scientifically proves the resurrection of Jesus Christ. I'd like you to concentrate on the screen because this is really, really interesting stuff. I believe that Jesus Christ left behind him absolute and undeniable scientific evidence of his resurrection. In fact, I think it would have been easier for a fraudulent medieval artist such as Leonardo da Vinci to have designed and launched the Hubble Space Telescope than to have created the Shroud of Turin. The technology to create the Hubble Space Telescope in the year 2009 is available, but the laser technology to create the three-dimensionally encoded photo-negative image on the Shroud of Turin doesn't exist today. So just by word of introduction, I'm a medical doctor, but I retired some years ago, and now I travel around the world giving completely free PowerPoint conferences anywhere in the world. That's my wife there. We have a website, two websites, finalfrontier.org.uk and freechristianteaching.org, and on there are 12 subjects, and there will be 12 DVDs on each of these subjects. What happens after we die? Evangelism is easy. Creation, the Genesis account. Evolution is impossible. The discoveries of Noah's Ark, Sodom and Gomorrah, the Exodus crossing Mount Sinai and the Ark of the Covenant, the crucifixion of Jesus, the Shroud of Turin proves the resurrection, the Bible is supernatural, what does God think about abortion, the pre-tribulation rapture of all Christians in our lifetime, God's perfect plan for our finances, and how to have a miracle. And this DVD and all the others may be freely downloaded, copied and distributed from the three websites, finalfrontier.org.uk, freechristianteaching.org and video.google.com. Right, so on our websites are free downloadable DVDs, free downloadable books, free movies to watch, free conferences anywhere in the world, and free information. A very big thank you to Howard and Leslie Conda of Genesis Revelation TV for so kindly helping in the production of these programs and letting us use these wonderful facilities. All information and images are intended to be used under the fair use clause of the copyright law. Now, there is abundant historical evidence that Jesus actually rose from the dead. Jesus is a person in history, and Jesus himself prophesied his own resurrection in Mark chapter 10. It says, he said, they will mock him, that's the Son of God himself, and scourge him and spit on him and kill him, and the third day he will rise again. Now, Flavius Josephus was born in 37 AD and was a Jewish Pharisee, and this is what he wrote. Now, there was about this time Jesus, a wise man, if it be lawful to call him a man, for he was a doer of wonderful works. Pilate condemned him to the cross, and he appeared to them alive on the third day. So then we have a Jewish historian who said that Jesus Christ died on the cross, a figure in history who died on the cross, and also came back alive on the third day. Now, the Shroud of Turin is authentic and scientifically proves the resurrection of Jesus Christ. And I'm going to be trying to impress upon you the accuracy of this statement over the next 57 minutes. So what really happened after the crucifixion? Well, the crucifixion happened at Golgotha, the place of the skull just by the Damascus Gate, and Jesus was nailed with three nails to the cross. We have a separate teaching just on the crucifixion. And after he died, the first thing they did was place a napkin over his face. Now, if somebody died on a road near you, somebody would cover the person's face, and that's exactly what they did with Jesus, with a thing which in Greek is called a sudarion, and then covered his body with a sheet called a sindon. And Jesus' body was taken down from the cross and covered in that shroud there, just like that. We'll be looking at that much more carefully in a while. His body was placed in the garden tomb, which was owned by Joseph of Arimathea, and the great stone was rolled across the entrance of the tomb, and the Roman soldiers sealed and guarded the tomb and used an iron spike to do that. And let me tell you, that iron spike is still there. It's been analysed and shown to be a Roman spike dating from the time of Christ. Jesus, of course, his spirit went to paradise with the repentant thief, But the dead body of Jesus was left behind in the garden tomb for 3 days and for 3 nights. It says in Psalm 16, "For you will not leave my soul in Sheol, nor will you allow your Holy One to see corruption." So Jesus' body didn't corrupt in any way during those 3 days and 3 nights. Now, I believe at the resurrection, the Holy Spirit re-entered the dead body of Jesus with a tremendous burst of light with the emission of nuclear radiation. That's a big comment to state, but we've got some scientific evidence later on to back that up. Now, the physics of the resurrection, I believe, was similar to the physics of the transfiguration. And in both cases, the atoms of Jesus' body accelerated to the speed of light, and Jesus actually entered eternity. And the radiation emitted at the resurrection scorched a photonegative image of the scourged and crucified Jesus onto the first century linen cloth with 3-dimensional encoding. Now, at the carbon dating, which I'll be talking about, they found excessive carbon-14 on the shroud, and I believe this was caused by the resurrection of Jesus Christ. So after 3 days, Jesus came back to life, and both the disciples and the women, they entered the garden tomb, and they saw 2 separate pieces of cloth. First of all, the napkin placed around Jesus' head, that was placed to one side and folded, and a large piece of linen which described it with 2 Greek words which we'll be looking at, a syndon and an athonia. And that's happened at the garden tomb, which is now empty. There's no body there because Jesus came back to life. That's on the door of the garden tomb. He is not here, for he is risen. Jesus Christ has risen from the dead. Now, there are lots and lots of people we need to give credit to. The official photographer for the Shroud of Turin research project was Barry Schwartz, who set up a fantastic website called Shroud.com. And he and Ian Wilson, who's a historian, have co-authored a magnificent book, The Turin Shroud. And there are lots of other experts, I'll be naming them, but there are photographic experts, nuclear physicists, botanists, archaeologists, historians, forensic pathologists, radiologists, carbon dating experts, textile specialists, and experts in ancient Jewish antiquities. I won't go through all the list of names because we will be naming them. Now, first of all, people say the Shroud of Turin is not in the Bible. Well, it is, but you just have to read the Greek words. You do need to have a look at the Greek words very carefully, and that's what we're going to do now. Now, in a normal Jewish burial, a normal Jewish burial, there were 2 pieces of cloth. First of all, this sudarion around the face, and the kairos, or bandages, specifically bandages for winding around a dead body, used to wind around the body. So in a normal Jewish burial, the body was wrapped first in the napkin, described as the sudarion, and the linen burial windings described as kairos. So, for example, Lazarus was raised from the dead by Jesus, and it says in the scriptures that he had this sudarion around his head and the kairos around his body. That's in John chapter 11. It says the dead man came out, that's Lazarus, with his hands and feet wrapped with strips of linen, kairos, and a cloth, the Greek word is sudarion, around his face. Now, we know what that word sudarion actually is because it's used elsewhere in the New Testament. It was actually a towel for wiping the perspiration from the face or for binding the face of a corpse. Now, in Acts 19, it says God did extraordinary miracles through Paul so that even handkerchiefs, the word sudarion in Greek, and aprons that had touched him were taken to the sick. So we know what that word means. Now, at the burial of Jesus, two pieces